Our final European match of the weekend is currently in the moment here as we're watching both of them, and we're tied up 1-1. After game number 1, I was a bit worried about Expert, but they definitely came back swinging in game number 2 and showed us what they are capable of.
Yeah, they definitely did. Much better draft for them in the second game, and then also without any interrupts against the Mosh Pit. Dignitas quickly realized that they couldn't fight in big team fights, or they had a pretty difficult approach to them, decided to try and play the map and go for the macro game instead. Expert with good reactions to it and a very well-made decision to try and end with a Punisher before 20. And that ties the series up and brings us into game number 3.
That it does, and the people have spoken here. Team Expert and Team Dignitas have voted upon who will get the victory in the matchup, and 76% of you believe Dignitas is going to be able to get the win. Now, that may be a little skewed because of what's happened in game number 1, because Expert is definitely looking to change the case there and show that they definitely deserve the win. Let's go to game number 3. What battleground will we be playing on? It's going to be BOE.
Battlefield of Eternity is our third map. And I think the high favor of Dignitas in the poll is also just because of the legacy here. They've been dominating Europe for so long. But again, keep in mind, they didn't even make it to the Western Clash, so...
Go ahead and clear that out. Let's get it out. Feels good, doesn't it?
Okay, yep, I'm here. I'm back.
Nice.
There we go. All right, I think I'm back. So, from them not making it to the Western Clash, they are, of course, now heavily focusing on BlizzCon, as they should, and everybody also wants them to be there. And they definitely stepped it up since then. But Expert is a team that for like months, for years, has been trying to go into the top 3, and they undoubtedly have pushed forward there, especially with Liquid struggling lately. And Dignitas has to respect Expert, or they are going to crash and burn, and that's exactly what Expert is going to try to achieve on Battlefield of Eternity now.
Well, they're going to have to burn an Immortal down here. Let's do it. BOE is the battleground. Team Expert and Team Dignitas. Medivh bans out once again. Dignitas is not going to even give Expert the chance to run that hero, as this is the third ban they have had in the series.
The interesting part is that it always opens up other avenues for you. Now, Expert with a ban on their hand. So what do you ban here? Do you ban Tassadar? Do you ban ETC? Do you decide to ban Uther again just to make sure that if Dignitas gets some of their key heroes?
I think you ban the ETC if you are going to ban one of those top 2 heroes, simply for the mere fact that ETC is just as valuable on this map, and Dehaka loads a little in priority, as Dehaka is someone that can be managed with being a 2-lane battleground. But Team Expert is thinking about banning out the Uther, but I would not mind seeing ETC banned.
So the reason why, as my throat starts killing me, I was talking about Uther as a potential ban on their side is because he takes synergies away. Dignitas has shown a high trend of synergies with ETC Mosh Pit and the Divine Shield and with Genji. So remember in the days when we saw a lot of bans on Tassadar simply because he wanted to deny a double support combo with either a Tracer or an Illidan or anything else? This is pretty much what they've now tried to do in the last game with Uther. In this game, on the other hand, they make a last-second switch into Tassadar to probably push Dignitas away from a Tassadar Tracer composition, since they know that Dignitas with Snitch love to play that. And Dignitas reacts with an ETC as an early first pick, which doesn't really shock me. No. The question now is, how do you react if you're a Team Expert? What are you giving Dignitas? What does Dignitas want? Because this is a little bit of a different map, but if you think about it, there's still opportunities for Dignitas to go into Dehaka together with ETC. They could go into Uther again for also that Mosh Pit approach. And at the same time, when we're looking at Team Expert, they could also say, hey, we have just focused the Immortal more. And that's actually what they're doing. They're going into Vala and Rhaegar so that they have Immortal pressure. And I like that approach on this map more than I did on Sky Temple. So now even if Dignitas goes into these Dehaka and Uther comps again, I still think it's incredibly strong, but Expert at least has an idea that they're pursuing with that rep, where they're saying, yes, you might have great team fights, but we are focusing on Immortal pressure, and if we get those, we can still beat you.
So, theory craft time. So I see the Vala coming in. I thought about the Vala being there, but do you think Auriel's been nerfed enough to where she's not warranted to be picked up against ETC? Auriel with a Detainment Strike actually overrides any type of power slides or engages that you're trying to get with the ETC, so you get some control in the fights.
I don't think that Auriel has been nerfed to an extent where she doesn't fit in these compositions. We've already seen her played, and I mean, Oriel's biggest nerf was really just the level 7 cooldown reduction that is gone, and if you go into a full double support composition, you can play around that.
Yeah.
The utility that she overall offers with a Detainment Strike is absolutely fantastic if you have someone that can use that properly. So I think Oriel still has a place. She's been nerfed to an extent where she doesn't have that high of a priority anymore, but she's still good and can be played.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting maybe some more Oriel just to help out with the ETCs coming in there, get the control of when they go in for the engages and keep them at bay and have your ball working the attacks. But Rhaegar will be the choice now. We know why he's strong.
What I kind of like is how Dignitas is... They're currently going for a back to the roots approach, where they are always using Mena back on his mages. Now we have Li Ming as an early pick even. Heavy poke that is able... And also Rhaegar... Sorry, Uther taken again with ETC. So the comp that we know they want to play with Li Ming, 4 burst damage. If you hit that Mosh Pit combo, you will immediately be able to capitalize with Li Ming as well. So that is definitely something where they go back to what they feel is strong. They started to move into the double support. It didn't work out for a while. Then they kind of got a hang of it, but they still were always in a weird situation because they had to take key players off their role and head them into the double support. So I love what they're currently doing here.
After they're banned out, and Dignitas not one to play against that. We have seen it occasionally on BOE, helps out with the side soak, and you're able to use that Mule, which has been utilized pretty often as of late. He's eventually going to be the only hero with that Mule, so it's interesting to see that he's still there. Team Expert banned out the Sonya. I was actually kind of wondering if they would ban out the Malthael or the Arthas, which is something that we get from Dignitas pretty often, and they can still move into that now with that 4th and 5th, unless Team Expert wants to grab it now.
Yeah, I'm extremely curious about Expert's approach now. Greymane is also still there. I mean, it depends on how much do you really want to commit to the Immortal Chase. Do we go into double support? The Oriel that you mentioned, for example. Are we going to see that for ADRD? So there's a lot of tools that they can use right now. But with Vala and Rhaegar, they've already stated that they are having a great time pushing for the Immortal. And now I just want to see how ham they go in on that idea. Or if there's maybe even something, some curveball that they can throw, since Battlefield of Eternity has traditionally been a map where Expert is usually pretty good at, and where they also have sometimes very aggressive approaches. But for now, they're keeping ADRD's hero open, and they use the Haka and Nubarak. So we're going to see Side Soak, and that's already a fair amount of interrupts against Mosh Pits if they get them in early enough, or they can try and shut that down. They have a Nubarak for Cocoon, you have the Haka for Side Soak, attempting to get the early level 10 during the second Immortal. This is a solid draft.
Yeah, solid pickup here for Team Expert. And on the right side, Dignitas answered back with the Genji and the Arthas we were talking about. They've been running Arthas on this battleground for ages now. So they go ahead and fill it in here. Helps out with the ETC. The combo was good. We saw it earlier. Allows you to change out if you want to go in the stage dive.
Yeah, it's actually really strong because you have now a situation where Power Slide and Howling Blast can be combined. And that's extremely scary. So Dignitas with a very strong front line. I love ETC and Arthas. I really think it's a great comp, and it also helps you to assist Arthas if he needs to get out. Expert, on the other hand, what's going to be that last pick? Is it going to be the Oriel? Are we going to see that double support? Or what else is ADRD going to play? Because he also played quite a bit of Greymane.
Yeah.
So he could just simply say, let's go in on the damage. We have a double front line. Rhaegar is going to be enough to keep us alive and make sure that we are getting that Immortal as fast as possible.
I mean, there's a control game on the side of Dignitas on the right side. I wouldn't mind seeing the Oriel mixed in here for the reasons that we mentioned at the beginning of the draft. At the same time, I can see a Greymane working if you do want to threaten that Li Ming and say, hey, I'm willing to fight and move aggressively into the Immortal. It is going to be the Oriel.
So we're going to wait for these attainment strikes. There's a lot going to be hinging on ADRD. And yeah. Both walk away with a good draft, with a very strong idea of what they're trying to do here. Very beefy front line for Dignitas. Third game, series is tied. And we're going to find out in just a few who's going to walk away with the lead. Thing is, of course, that with the double support, Expert has to ensure that no one's dying. Because if they start falling apart, then the 2 resets that we have on Li Ming and on Genji are just they're gonna rip them a new one. So they need to be really, really careful that they are keeping everyone alive, and that especially ETC doesn't get that mosh pit in.
Yep, especially with that Uther being on their side, they want to make sure that they're able to handle it, keep up with the poke, and get their opponents lower and lower in health. ETC going to help out with that prog rock, obviously, then help out with the healing, but I can see a world where Team Expert actually walks away with some trades here on Battlefield of Eternity. Let's go ahead and start up game number 3. We are tied 1-1. Someone's got to take a lead. Let's find out.
Game number 3. Game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Expert versus Dignitas. Curson, this time Rega bet Benny currently playing on an Uburak. We see Athero, of course, and Dehaka on that side lane Soak. And ADRD with his second support playing Oriel to support Nick on Vala as the main damage dealer for Team Expert.
On the right side in the red, JPL playing ETC, Snitch on Genji, Bakery playing Uther, Mane back on his Li Ming, and he is going to be looking for those combos. And same time, Arthur's playing the Azalea.
Was a great second game that we had. First map, Dignitas absolutely dominant. On the second, Expert bringing it back into the game. But right now, one of these two teams is going to be walking away with the lead once more. Vala with the obvious arrow build. And Rega actually hesitating a little bit on the first talent. I would still expect Lightning Bond to be taken here, to be quite frank. Helps you so much with that race. And instead he goes for the Colossal Totem. So we are most likely going to see on level 16 him going for the Earthgrass Totem, trying to get that mini stun in, trying to slow down the approach of the opponent a bit and missing out on some of the pressure that they have against the Immortals.
Didn't Curson do this once already in the past, and we were sitting here evaluating, analyzing why he would go for it, and he wound up just tweeting out, oh, it was a misclick. Am I remember that correctly?
That I'm not sure, but that definitely wasn't a misclick.
Yeah,
if you wait this long for your talent to be taken, you're not misclicking there. I don't believe that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are actually a lot of advantages if you go into Colossal Totem. It's just a question, what's your priority? If you really want to chase down the Immortal as fast as you can, then having Lightning Bond is better. But if you are just willing to fight and just use the Colossal Totem over here, especially since you want to use the Synergy on 16, you can do that too. I'm not too upset about this right now, since I think they still have strong team fights here. Yeah. It's not that they only have the Immortal as a potential win condition. They have a little bit more to their composition than that.
Gives them a little bit more control, keeps Rhaegar safer. You can try to dock it near that Uther so he can't come in for the stun when ETC does move in for the power slide, so you can try and disrupt the combo coming out from Dignitas. And let's go ahead and start the Immortal phase. 7 more seconds here. It will be popping up as both of our teams are about to hit level 3.
Yeah, so ideally, attempting to go for level 4. Arrow Monster Hunter is of course getting you some damage output, but we're not there with a stuck Vala on her level 4 talent just yet. That's where Nick is gonna have to heavily put some work in to make sure that he gets that as fast as possible. But ADRD already with a good detainment strike, putting Main in his place for a moment and stunning him out. JPL is defending up at the top, and we still have on both lanes Hero soaking experience, but yeah, just a little bit of poke happening right now as Team Expert is starting to push forward.
Nick working in when he can, while Arthur's in the bottom, Genji on the top. So Dignitas is getting that lead and experience and hitting that 4, which the moment you hit that 4 allows for you to move in for a fight, try to use that talent advantage to get a kill or 2. Snitch coming around here, does find Nick. Power slide hits. There's going to be a combo from Bad Benny as he comes out with the burrow charge to keep him at bay, but a Thorough comes in looking for the fight.
There was an interesting drag attempt that we saw there too. The interesting part is always that it's just so much more difficult or more dangerous if you push into your opponent's Immortal because of the stun circles. If your opponent can stack stuns on you like this, that is always nearly a guaranteed kill. So that's something that both of them have to be aware of. But the pokes from Mane really start to do damage, and we are now looking at Team Expert starting to lose out on the race quite heavily. They're nearly down to 50%, and Arthas is still soaking the bot lane. They are both on level 4s though, which at least allows the stacks to start to come in on the side of Nick. But here's that stun that we've been talking about. That Benny also starting to run out of mana.
Luckily, double support was here for Bad Benny to keep him alive, or he would have probably fallen. ADRD sees ETC come in, drops a team and strike, will take some pressure. Knockup does keep JPL away, but Zelia is suddenly taking some damage here as Nick turns around and fights.
Yeah, he took a lot of damage in that encounter and had to move back, so the Immortal, at least the halftime show, goes over to Team Expert. The one thing that of course goes in Expert's favor is with Oriel, you're not as mana dependent as your opponent. This is, by the way, really common. Once the halftime show has started, we are seeing teams usually just simply go for the race. As fast as you can, we are on the safe side at this point. It's easier for you. Tap the fountain, defensive position gets extremely easy, so they're just like bursting that away. We're having, therefore, an Immortal in favor of Team Expert early on in the game. But yeah, coming back to my point, Oriel not being reliant on mana in long drawn-out fights gives you more sustain than the opponent's team, where Uther, for example, is very highly dependent on it.
And Team Expert being able to sustain there does get a nice, juicy Immortal to push down the bottom lane. Throw's going to go bolster it where he can help out and get the turrets burned away, but the rest of Team Expert have shown up in the top lane. They're hoping to break down both the front walls and maybe get a kill on someone if they overextend, while Dignitas is scurrying around the map here to come in and defend.
Yeah, splitting away from the Immortal, getting a stun in here against JPL. And Vala is, of course, going to attempt to get some additional stacks. Currently, we don't see too much for the arrow build here. Only hitting 10 extra damage this far, which means 2 arrows, of course. And in the bottom lane, we at least have the Haka getting a solid amount of work done. Both of the walls are basically down. It's only the gate that remains here. But with that, we have a lead in experience. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but Expert, at least from a structural point of view, has started to open up the map.
Team Expert in a 4v3 on the top side are looking to grab the mercenary camps, while the bottom is grabbed by Arthas and Genji. Dignitas will be able to back on up and clear that out while they work on the other side of the battleground. But very, very close right now, despite the Immortal grabbing the turrets on the bottom side and the top lane here, as Dignitas has been doing a great job of soaking.
You can already tell that we see Nick being highly aggressive up here at the top with current arrow after arrow, vault quickly in and then try and hit another one. He's attempting to get his stacks together as fast as he can so that they have an easier time during the second Immortal phase. And he increased it from 5 to 30 within just that little bit of skirmish that we had up at the top. So it's important really for them that they get this done, since Mena has done a fantastic job poking from the back against the Immortal during the last phase. And it turned out nearly to be enough, but once Vala can complete the quest, or at least get close, it's not only about the hero damage, but also every single arrow combo that you hit against the Immortal is chunking it down super fast.
And speaking of that Immortal, he'll be spawning soon. Both the teams are prepping for that as they grab the Mercs on the right side and the left side to get them counter-pushing. Should have Team Expert grab the advantage there because of Haka. Dignitas will have to peel somebody off, and until they get that stage dive, they won't have the global.
This is another basic thing that you need to remember for your own games, by the way. You grab the Immortal, you grab your camp when the Immortal is announced. You can take it before, but you grab it once the Immortal is announced, because then it moves into lane when the Immortals appear, and your opponent has to either rotate a hero down to deal with a camp, which gives you an opportunity to push the opponent's Immortal or turn it or fight a 5 versus 4, or your opponent is ignoring the camp and then will lose out on infrastructure because of it. It's a super basic principle on Battlefield of Eternity, and if you use that and your opponent doesn't, you will usually end up with an advantage in your games.
That you will. And usually, you're in a spot where you can actually defend it too because you're near your well and can tap up. Hang on though, JPL's on the right side, getting knocked up. We do have the team strike hitting once again. Arthas in the bottom lane soaking, so Expert is taking this chance, and they are running with it. They put some damage on that Immortal.
Yeah, they definitely did. And they actually completed the halftime show. Okay, so they're exactly where they want to be right now. Halftime show has started, and they can still utilize Nick. He was actually tempted to move in already and then decided to play this a little bit slower. Hits an arrow, but does not connect. Teams are both on level 9. Dignitas would love to stall it out a bit longer so that they get their heroic ability. But this is actually a crucial phase here, because if Expert now, or if, let's say Dignitas forces a fight and loses it, then Expert is likely to win Immortal plus level 10 and can then push even to the keep wall. So that's something where Dignitas has to be careful. But if they can get the kills here, they might win the Immortal. And Arthas is flanking from the side. Well done. Attainment strike already used, but Nick is in trouble. Tries to get out. Vala is down. Great flank from Arthas, preparing that kill. And now it's time for Bad Benny to die. The bug is dead and eliminated. And that's a double kill. Dignitas hits level 10, and Expert is on the retreat.
The strength of a proper flank there. Zelia coming in on the right, getting the 3-man Howling Blast, allowed for the team to focus down the Vala. Cleanse being utilized to save Ariel a little bit later on there, but I don't know if it got used on Vala, if it'd be enough there, as Vala gets picked off, and Nubrak as well. Dignitas winning this Immortal phase and looking great.
Yeah, Zelia single-handedly destroying them. That flank just annihilated everything. Vala had no chance of getting away. You have your damage stacked in Vala, so you can't even do anything about it. And now we have the level 10. Expert is just trying to get experience so they can at least defend with their own 10. That's why their Haka is currently still at the bot lane. They get that as well. But this is still a big win for Team Dignitas. They held an experience lead already before the Immortal has even done anything.
The Immortal working on the turrets now. The 10 does hit for Team Expert. How will they fare in the defense? Sometimes you see teams go past that Immortal, especially when they know they have a global that can't come on in. That does require a nice robust tank. Bad Vinny being on that Nubrak, a little bit lower in health pool, just trying to play safely, while Nick works in the arrows when he can. Dahaka continues to stay on the bottom side, but hang on, Nick gets hit with another Howling Blast. Zelia trying once again to set up his team for a victory.
Yeah, flank comes in, and now it's a 5 versus 5, but the Immortal is about to take down the fort, and indeed does. Can they get a kill? That's the question right now. JPL needs to be careful. His mosh pit got set on a low cooldown, got interrupted here, but the combo from Mene nearly blowing Curson into the next dimension, and we have once more Dignitas pressuring forward as Curson is still alive, trying to keep his teammates alive as well, but they have taken significant damage here.
Mane was so ready, man, to turn around that fight. He was looking for that reset, almost had it on Rhaegar, but sadly does not get it. Now, with it all said and done here, Dignitas gets a nice lead, a full level here. They break down a fort on the top left, and they're already looking for a little bit more too as they push in the bottom side and start working on their 13s.
Yeah, we have a level lead now. And Nick at 60 extra damage, missing 40, so 8 more shots on his arrow and he's going to complete his quest. Still a little bit of a rough time for them, because what their goal is going to be now is they hit level 13 fast enough so that the next Immortal is not going to be a free for Team Dignitas. And it should actually work out for them. Dignitas half level ahead, so maybe they hit the halftime show first, but it's going to be at least a team fight where Expert has a chance. If they can, of course, get a kill before that, would even be better for them. It's a little bit doubtful here. But yeah, Mene is doing a fantastic job here. And it's more so Zelia with these flanks that really starts to destroy Team Expert. They need to be careful that nobody is getting that such an easy drop on them.
Yeah, Zelia definitely coming in. And you can actually do a pretty solid job of dropping down the Nubrak for the anchoring, but the thing is they have Dahaka. Dahaka being on a side lane and split pushing is making it harder for them to watch out for those flanks, and that's why Arthas is able to get them off. So it might require a Rhaegar to hold onto a bush instead, be a little bit close for those heals, but not group up so heavily. We'll see if they can manage to hold Arthas down here on the next Immortal phase, as it now procs for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, so they take the camp again, they wait once again, a little bit longer. Usually you wait until like 20, 15 seconds. And yeah, there we have it, around 20 seconds taken for ADRD. And now they're facing the issue that they are currently still down in experience. It's 10 seconds until the Immortal is there. The Haka is soaking at the top. We see Soak at the bot lane. It should work out for Expert. As I said, the best that Dignitas can hope for right now, unless Expert screws up massively, is running the halftime show.
And here it is. 13 to 12. The Immortals spawn. Can they get to that halftime show? Dignitas already rotating down. The experience ticking in. They go in for Bad Benny and get him low. Zelia already looking for a fight. Cocoon will actually be utilized as Bad Benny's trying to find JPL.
Yeah, and that drag was a little bit awkward. Aethero missing it. At least they don't have 13 just yet, and that's an issue. With that early forced fight, that became a problem. Nick on 75 extra damage right now, which is starting to actually pack a punch against the Immortal. He doesn't complete his quest yet, which allows him the extra hit. But still, there's again the Howling Blast attempt, and they go for Bad Benny, and Bad Benny is dead. Down goes the Beetle. No answer still being used. The 13 is too late. And yeah, Expert screwed up.
Expert now down a tank will have to suffer the loss of them maybe not getting this Immortal. It's not looking like they'll be able to. 15 more seconds for that Nubrak to spawn. Already Snitch and Mene are working on it on the bottom side. Nick will work in some attacks when he can. But it's not looking good right now.
No, it definitely doesn't. When they were waiting for level 12, we saw them in the mid lane with 2 heroes just trying to see if they can maybe delay and defend their own Immortal so that Dignitas doesn't get any damage in. And the big problem that happened after that was simply that an early Cocoon was forced out of Bad Benny because they got once again flanked by Arthas. And now they are about to lose an Immortal. And the problem is that this one is going to be a massive shield for Team Dignitas. This one is scary. The last one was already annoying to deal with and cost them a fort, but this one is even more so scary. They're forcing a fight. They're saying, guys, we need to do something here. They are trying to at least, but JPL and his boys, they're just walking away. They're rushing away. They're just saying, nope, it's not going to happen. You're not going to lock us down. Howling Blast covers the retreat. So at this point, they're just trying to move past the Immortal, let the Immortal go through and force a team fight here. This is a little bit desperate already.
That it is. Thorough gets hit by the Immortal knockback, taking the pressure on the side. Zelia finally does show up. Howling Blast hits on top of Bad Benny. Cleanse will save him for now, but still has to retreat. The shield gets dealt with pretty nicely here by Team Expert, but they gotta be careful.
Arthas is flanking again. He's already on the way on the minimap. You can see him here in the back. AD already sees him, needs to use that entertainment strike. So they try and jump on him. They try and jump on Arthas right now. They get the drag in this time, but yep, not quite.
Icebound Fortitude being helpful there, making sure that Team Expert walks away. They regroup as a team now. continue to move in as Dig is starting to work on the keep wall. This will give them experience here as they move towards 16. Watching JPL. Will he find a moment to move in for the power slide now as he'll be the main initiator?
I don't think they're going to commit too much. They're not going to get the keep here. The Haka is already at the top lane. There's a lot of experience still in structures on the side of Dignitas that Team Expert could pick up. The problem is really, the one reason why they're trying to force this fight is because now with the Immortal doing the damage, breaking through the wall in the fort, Dignitas has taken the experience to bring them closer to 16. And you don't want to fight against the talent advantage. So Expert screwed up a little bit when they were waiting for level 13, as we said before. But now they have an even bigger show on their hands. They need to somehow get more experience with the Haka, ideally take some structures, and make sure that when the Immortal appears on the map, they can win. Because the next Immortal could theoretically even end the game.
Dignitas not looking to end the game, but would like to poke on top of this keep here, getting it lower and lower. Do they find an opportunity to go in for an engage? They will, but JPL just doing his best here with the aid in Zelia to zone forward his mage, as Mane has already done a solid amount of damage here to the keep.
That's the power of a 16 push. They're sieging with 16. They know they have a talent advantage. They know Dignitas doesn't want to fight, so therefore they are trying to at least get the keep. And the Haka in the meantime works for the 4 top. I think from the looks of it, Expert is going to sacrifice the keep here. It's already too late for the Haka to come down and force a 16 versus 15 fight in their favor with a good drag. So instead, it's just going to be sacrifice the keep, get 16, and once the Immortal is in, force the fight and try to somehow take it. The Haka can take the bot lane, and once that he does that, he can just simply join the fight whenever he needs to, and that's exactly what happens. So he moves back now, will take the bot lanes, and nobody pushes it in. They have the global, and then he's going to join the fight whenever they have to. But with this move, they are basically making sure that Dignitas cannot put them on a clock.
Yeah. Great move there by Dignitas, but a wonderful move from Expert 2 to get themselves back in the game. They give themselves one more chance here to win the Immortal phase against their opponents on even talent tiers. Here it is. The 16 does connect, and Team Expert, Team Dignitas will fight in the middle.
Yeah, so Dignitas has a really significant lead right now, but it's a bit mitigated through the fact that they don't have the global, but Team Expert does. So the Haka, instead of pushing, is now just defending for as long as he can. And as long as he doesn't get ganked, they will be able to turn it into a 5 versus 5 in the mid lane. But this is definitely... This is the one that you have to win if you're Expert. If you lose here, then not only do you lose the second keep, you're potentially losing the game.
You can feel it, man. It's very intense here for Team Expert. They come in with a thorough. He's looking for a drag. Will not find the opportunity to move in here. The Immortal defended well by Dig.
He actually tried it, but he got pushed back. So he is on cooldown right now. He moves into the top lane to defend the camp for now. But it's definitely, the pressure's on Expert, no doubt about it. They are the ones that are getting pressured here. Bad Benny moving back away once again, and already significant damage done. Another drag about to be hit, and this time they get him. They're trying to go for JPL. He moves away, and Arthas again with a good Howling Blast here as we see Mane with good positioning, firing away from the back and constantly poking against the Immortal, who's nearly at 50% HP already.
And Dahak had it back here. He had to go top lane and clear that out. Moshpit goes off though with the Divine Shield, and they're going to look at an Ariel. Ariel getting destroyed there, as well as a Nubarak. Team Expert losing 2 members in the blink of an eye.
Absolutely pitch perfect Divine Shield from Bakery here. We already see the Rain of Vengeance going down, and before the stun hits, the Divine Shield is through. And with 2 heroes lost, and this looking more and more like a 100% shield Immortal, Team Dignitas is absolutely in the driver's seat in this thing.
Yep, they have Zelia on the side here, just making sure they keep follow away so they don't get any damage here. Shouldn't be able to do too much, just be a bit of a nuisance, make sure Nick can't work in those hungering arrows. JPL joining him too, and that's going to be it here. The Immortal grabbed it by Team at Dignitas, and it will be a robust one.
And now... Are they waiting for... Yeah, okay, they are waiting for Mane to go back. So they didn't kill the Immortal because they wanted Mane to get full hit points and mana. I was actually a bit surprised that they didn't send ETC back either, because he was also pretty low. But I think as long as he just grabs the two globes that are... the regeneration globes that are spawning now, he's going to be fine with it. But yeah, so they delay the Immortal taken just so that Mane can go back and can be fighting on full mana. JPL grabs the 2 globes, and now he's on half mana, which is going to be enough for him in the fight.
Team Expert was looking for a fight once again, similar to what we saw last situation, trying to find if they can pick somebody off. Dignitas responds well. Tahaka's in the bottom lane, doing what he can here to get that lane pushing, but stop the catapult, so they can put all their attention on defense in the top lane. Yeah,
defending this is going to be rough. Dignitas is going to look for a win here. If they can get a single kill, then it's already more or less lights out, but the keep is basically guaranteed at this point. The Haka comes in very much alone here right now, and a Howling Blast locks everyone else down. Aethero takes a lot of damage, drops the Essence, and they are being pushed back again. Dignitas with absolute heads-up play. No flank against them so far. They are the ones who every time dictate the team fight.
The shield being depleted here on the Immortal. Azalea pops the Icebound Fortitude. He moves in, looking for a Howling Blast, but Thurl is able to burrow out using the tunneling claws there. Keep balls, and now both cubes are down for Team Expert. A root does hit Nick, but is able to back up.
Yeah, Immortal is starting to lose HP though, so Dignitas doesn't have to move in for this one, but if they get a kill, they will go for the core. They're trying to make it work. Already Bad Benny starting to move in. Stun after stun coming into play right now. The shields on the core are being lost. Snitch jumping over. Mosh Pit is hit with a Divine Shield here. No interrupts, but also no kill.
It's going to be 4 people here with that Mosh. Arthas does fall, but everyone's putting their attention on the core. Even the Immortal, 10% down to 5, down to 0. Team Expert loses to Team Dignitas as Dignitas grabs a lead in the series 2-1.
Dignitas takes the advantage again in the series. Yeah, we're playing Expert quite a bit, especially Zelia getting 2 great flanks off against the opponent's team, and those flanks, especially the first one, absolutely caught Expert off guard.
Yeah.
And once that came in, they lost Vala so early. They had absolutely no chance in the fight. Had to give it up, fell behind with roughly a level that led to an early level 13 talent. And just as they were trying to go for 13 themselves to fight for the second Immortal, Bad Benny gets caught a bit. Or the supports get caught, but Benny helps out. He himself gets pressured, drops the cocoon, doesn't have it later, gets killed. And at that point, it already started to snowball a bit against them. And Dignitas played just fantastic. They didn't open anything up, no opportunities for Team Expert to claw their way back into this. And then it all got finished with a great Mosh Pit and Divine combo.
Yeah, one has to wonder, had the Vala not fallen in the early stages of the game, that big flank coming in, would have Nick and crew been on a bit of a better footing? They were fighting from a disadvantage the entire game, it felt like, and Dignitas just knew. It was a small disadvantage, it wasn't too insane, but it was enough to where Dignitas was like floating around, holding the Immortal advantage slightly here, getting some pushing going in here, and getting that keep was big.
Before the flank happened, I would actually argue that they did really well.
Yeah.
If not ahead, I would at least say they were on the same level. They had the first Immortal, which was great, so that opened the walls up. And for me, it was really the one flank that absolutely destroyed them. Because at that point, they were the ones pressuring, and they actually had a good position between the 2 Immortals. But then the flank happens, and, I mean, it hits everyone. You get a 3-man Howling Blast off against the double support and Vala, and Mena is just sitting there, it's like, okay, boys, I got this. And, yeah, it's a kill.
Solid combos out there from Mana. It's good to see him back on mages again, man. They seem to really committed to the idea of, all right, we're Dignitas, he loves mages, we're going to keep him on it. Let's go ahead and look at the global cheer bar here as we continue to gear up for the HGC finals. Over 18 million still here for cheers, getting closer and closer to Arcane Chaos Lizard.
Yeah, we're nearly hitting that lizard right now. Actually, I'm still impressed. I didn't really know what to expect when the cheer system came in, but I'm really happy that there's so many people out there that are supporting competitive heroes of the Storm esports, and yeah, there's a lot of passion there. Love it.
Yep, 1.7 million away from getting the Arcane Chaos Lizard, as the benchmark is 20,000 or 20 million for us to actually grab that mount. So looking forward to that. I know we're going to get it here. We still got a few more weeks before we actually go to the HGC finals. I mean, we have 3 more weeks left in competitive play after today that will be occurring here. And then, of course, we have playoffs, Crucible, and then, of course, it's the HGC finals, man. We are getting closer and closer to our destination, Anaheim, at BlizzCon, which is going to be one of the best events, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that when we hit those, what is it, 30 million? What was the biggest goal? 30, right? 30 million?
30,
if we hit that, then there's a secret Death Ring reveal at BlizzCon.
This guy making up things left and right here. Let's go ahead and talk about Twitter, man. You guys keep hitting us up here at Heroes Esports using the hashtag HGC. Continue to let us know what you think about this match right now. I mean, Expert and Dignitas has been a solid match for years on end, but it's gotten even more competitive, especially here in the HGC.
Yeah, and it got a bit of a roller coaster here today, at least, with that up and down that we have. Question, of course, remains, is Expert now on the 4th map able to again tie it up and force us into the 5th map, or is it going to be lights out as Dignitas claims victory and a significant step up in the standings?
Let's find out, man. It's Battleground time. What Battleground are we going to for game number 4? Dig with the lead is